Welcome back to the Maritime CEO Seafarer Leader series powered by Ocean Technologies Group. In August, we'll be bringing you more of our mini-series focused exclusively on seafarers, sponsored by our friends Wallam Group. Today we have a very special guest joining us from London, Kitack Lim, the Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization. Mr. Lim, thank you so much for joining us. I know your time is precious. So quickly, as this crew change conundrum escalated into a crisis, you and industry stakeholders issued a prompt, easy-to-follow, well-thought-out 12-step guide on the best operating procedures to carry out crew changes. And yet scarcely any governments have adopted these guidelines. So why do you think that is?
Thank you for raising that the point. First of all, I have to express my deepest thanks to all seafarers working at the sea at the moment, and also all shipping industry group and the port industry, and as well as the Seafarers Welfare Organization and the ITF for their hard work to improve the situation. As you mentioned, there has been several guidelines and the protocol for the member state to follow. I would say that many of them have not declared to completely adopting those guidelines, but there definitely has been a lot of progress, particularly nowadays in terms of a number of member states who are allowing crew change at the present is around 50 countries, actually much higher in terms of number. So, but the level of the adopting the guideline is different, subject to their national, domestic situation. However, number of countries to follow the guideline increasing. At the same time, as you know well, at the moment, if you compare to a few months ago, when the pandemic, giving a more impact than now. Like nowadays, most of European countries, most of the Asian countries, and North American countries, Australia, Canada, others, they are allowing. They are included about the 50 countries who are allowing seafarers. That's why the pandemic, is moving in a way from, developed a lot in the Asian European countries, and moving now the African countries and the Latin, South American countries. So the rest of the Asian and the European countries and a part of the Middle East country, they are allowing. So the level of, adopting the guidance may be different subject to this the situation, but the situation and the progress has been made step by step so far. We are encouraging for the member states to follow, to expand their policies to allow crew change. But definitely, there will be more progress. But we are still encouraging member states to do more to support the seafarer and the shipping companies.
Once the coronavirus recedes, what concrete measures would you like to see to ensure the status, stature, and well-being of seafarers around the world is permanently boosted?
That is a very important element. First of all, myself, I believe once the situation getting down, than before and over, much progress to recover, we have to review the whole development and the process impacted by the coronavirus, respect to the status or welfare of a seafarer. We have to review the whole development process, and we have needed to, together in cooperation with the industry group, we have to review and publish the outcome of the development and progress in terms of seafarers' welfare. Second one, IMO needed to enhance our effort to put more effort to the seafarers' issues in terms of welfare, in terms of qualification, into the work condition of the seafarers. So we are going to strengthen our effort to look up. At the same time, I believe we need to recognize one element. Seafarers as a profession is one of the key economic players, which is contributing to the world international trade, international economy. So seafarers as a profession is a key economic players. So that should be highlighted more. So that's why we are thinking together with the industry group, we are initiating certain sort of a campaign which around the world, to raise the awareness of seafarers as a key economic players. And also there will be much dialogue with the member state and all the industry. However, we are planning to organize regional seminar on top of the global activities, regional seminar, region by region, in order to aware the status of the seafarers, which must be based on our, as I mentioned, review and the progress of the issues and the COVID-19 and seafarers issues. And based on that one, we are going to initiate certain campaign in order to raise more awareness of the seafarers issues. And we needed to expand our dialogue. And more than now, together with the trade organization as well. We are having communicating with the trade organizations, but we need to expand our dialogue communication with the trade area because the shipping is a crucial part of the international supply chain. So that's why we need to strengthen our communication trade organization and the trade entities in order to raise the key role of seafarers.
We've had the recent UK Crew Change Summit and lots of reports of successful charter flight operations, and yet of late we've seen some states tightening their crew change stance. From what you can see, do you think the worst is actually over for this particular crisis?
First of all, I really thank the UK initiated the military summit on the seafarer issues, which is very well received. And we have a lot of progress, as you mentioned, like UAE and other US and other countries who are strengthening, putting more effort to seafarers crew change issues. Having said that, as you know that, as I mentioned, the pandemic is progressing. Start Asian countries and moved to European countries, and then moved to the African countries and the Latin countries. So the stability situation of the Asian countries and European countries has getting stable, step by step, while the other area, Latin African countries, are getting actually worsening. So I wouldn't say actually turn over all the difficulties. However, we need to focus more effort in terms of crew change in those areas who already allow crew change around the 50 countries, Asia, European countries. So we are focusing our effort in those areas to encourage them to open more doors to crew change issues. However, when it comes to the Latin, South American countries and African countries where the pandemic is developing, it's very hard, there are certain limitations for those countries who are allowing. And also, we are going to continue to actually encouraging member states, pay more attention by making more dialogue, bilateral dialogue, multilateral dialogue, and regional seminars, etc. So I believe this situation is getting better while the pandemic is worsening in some area. But the awareness of a member state has been improved a lot. Awareness of political leaders in many member states and the political leaders, they know the issues, but they are struggling how to handle their domestic challenges and how to support the shipping and seafarers issues. So definitely we will continue putting more effort in improving the situation, focusing our effort on those, like a positive country in order to encourage them to open doors more.
Many thanks indeed, Mr. Lim. We'll be back with another Wallum-sponsored episode next Thursday. In the meantime, everyone, stay sane and sanitize.